Hello, friends, how are you? I hope you are doing great. The famous oceanographer Jacques Cousteau was born in 1910 in a small town of Saint André de Cobzac, France. As a child, Cousteau was a real discoverer. Jacques was always a very creative kid and also a great explorer when he was a child. He made devices out of junk and enjoyed numerous hours in the woods along rivers and lakes around his house. But at that time, the concept of the ocean, of exploring what lay beneath the waves, was still a fantasy due to the technology. Jacques entered the French Navy in the 1930s as a pilot, but in 1936 he almost died in a car crash because both his arms were seriously hurt in the accident, and doctors remained skeptical about his chances of healing. Due to his determination to recover, Jacques took a leap into Mediterranean Sea swimming. This daily connection with the water sparked a transformative realization. It was a whole world in the water that no one has seen and know much about. That is why Jacques began to develop some sort of obsession to investigate it. Jacques first met Emile Gagnon, an engineer, during the World War, sometime in the early 1940s. They created the Aqua-Lung, a device that would enable man to stay underwater as long as he wants to. This invention can be considered as the start of the modern scuba diving because people received unique opportunity to investigate the underwater world. Jacques was not satisfied with simply diving. He wanted to show others what he witnessed. He started to use some cameras which are made for underwater to capture his experiences. These early efforts set foundations for what eventually turned a man into one of the most immense and legendary storytellers of the century. After inventing it, Jacques started utilizing his item in the ocean like never before was experienced. In 1950, he bought a Second World War British minesweeper, changing her into the celebrated research ship Calypso. The Calypso was transformed into a full research vessel with state-of-the-art equipment, permitting Jacques and his team to sail further than most divers. It is important to note that Jacques undertook his journeys as never done before. He lived through coral reefs teeming with life, documented first-time encounters with marine organisms for man, and dived into wrecks of ancient ships. That was not just science, it was art. In order to capture the true essence of the underwater world, Jacques had to use techniques that have not been used in previous documentaries. Jacques, The Silent World was released in 1956, which provided people with an exceptional view of underwater world. The film was awarded the Palme d'Or at Cannes and an Oscar, which made Jacques a true world celebrity. Millions of people for the first time looked at the ocean not as a strange and colorless abyss, but a living organism. As much as Jacques dug deeper into the ocean, he found out how horrible the ocean was. He saw the devastation brought by pollution, overfishing, as well as reckless industrial conduct. It was painful, and they were losing their coral reefs, and many species he enjoyed watching were disappearing, and the waters which were once blue were threatened. This awakening made Jacques change from an explorer to an activist. He found the platform in films, books, and public speeches to promote the campaign of ocean conservation. Jacques' message was simple but powerful. But what makes people protect what they take is important. He used to say that if people only could look at the sea, they would do everything in their power to preserve it. Marine protected areas around the globe were initiated and effectively propelled by Jacques. He pressured governors to set limits on fishing and pollution, urging that seas are not inexhaustible but fragile biospheres on which human survival depends. As much as Jacques Cousteau died in 1997, he has left a great legacy. His early works on scientific diving inspired so many people, ranging from scientists, filmmakers, and conservationists in the world. The Aqua-Lung grew to become the basis for contemporary scuba diving, offering the other world to millions. His documentaries and books to this day are enlightening and inspiring for young and old. In fact, Jacques' lasting legacy was rewriting humans' perception of the ocean. As far as his contribution to the seas, before him it was still almost as though they were another world. Jacques proved the world that ocean is not only alive, but it is beautiful and should be preserved. Today, marine reserves, environmental movements, and the most recent development in oceanography can be accredited to Jacques Cousteau. This story of his wonderful life is a summary of curiosity mainly in the exploration of the great burden of the world. Jacques Cousteau was much more than a diver, filmmaker, and scientist. He was a clicker. He was the man, actually, Aquaman, a man who devoted his life for the discovery of the secrets of the ocean and protecting everything submerged in the water.